This is Shamik Morgan.
Hey, what's up, man?
What's going on, brother?
That's all good.
Great. It's a pleasure.
Yeah,
It's a
no doubt,
pleasure.
no doubt. Same here.
Definitely. I've been following your story since it's last year, right?
Yeah. Well,
About last
this year.
early this year. I've been following your story, and it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. Just to come out. When I heard, I was about around this time last year, I was trying to put this magazine together, and I stopped for a second. And when I heard your story, I was like, I gotta do this magazine because I wanna get the word out there. There's a lot of stuff going on in our community. Hello? A lot of stuff going on in our community needs, we need to be aware of. And it's what this magazine is about. So it's a pleasure. Like I said, I told everybody, I said, oh, wow, look what I got. Because I was telling them, when I first wanted to start, they were like, are you really passionate about this? I said, yo, listen, we need this right now. Because this is the time that we need to enlighten our people. Definitely. Yeah. Great.
It's all good, like every day, people always stop me, and want to kick it, and I build with them for a little while, and it's pretty cool, they take pictures, and I just show people like, I'm talking to Ron Savage, it's all good, but
yeah, it's a real story.
Yeah, man, just like the other day, man, the shit bugged me out. I was on a train and shit, and it was this man. He looked like he's around. I know he's in the 60s. I don't know. He looks at like 65, 66, some shit. So
okay.
I'm on my phone and I'm texting. So this dude was like looking at me and he's like, you texting? And I'm like, yeah. Like, what do you mean? Like, yeah, I'm texting. So he was like, nah, because yo, it's just a pleasure to meet you, and y'all been following your story, and it's an honor, and this and that, blah blah blah. Yo, you know what this dude told me?
What he said?
He was like, yeah, your story touched a lot of people, and it changed a lot of lives, and I was like, thank you, and he was like, yeah, he said just when your story came out, a couple of months after that, I apologized to my granddaughter for molesting her when she was younger.
Oh, wow.
Yo, I was like, word. I was like, whoa. Yeah, he told me that shit, and he's like started crying. He had like tears in his eyes, and he was like, yo, I thank you, man. And I was like, no problem. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, it's real. I was molested by one of my mother's friends when I was young.
Yeah, man, it's a lot of people, man.
A lot of people. So when I heard that, I was like, well, I was like, I remember one time one of my mother's girlfriends when I was like 5 years old, touching on me and all this stuff, and no one believed me.
Yeah, man, that shit is real, man, and just like me, I was holding this shit in for so long, man. Growing up, that shit just fucked me up, like mentally, because of who it was,
Mhm. Yeah, I know. So I know after all that, is the book is this a type of way of your healing?
Yeah, well, the book came about because like this was like after I had I was going through some crazy stuff like with one of my exes and shit, and we had broke up or whatever, and I had went to the doctor or whatever because I was like really on the verge of like really breaking down and shit. So the therapist, she I wouldn't really talk. They had diagnosed me like major depression and shit, and I wasn't really talking, but she could see that. She could see that it was something like really deep, So she was telling me like like why don't I go home and just write down on paper, everything that was bothering me and things that I don't want to like come out and say. Just put everything on paper, you know.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So yeah, so when I went home, I just started doing it. I just started putting down like everything that happened to me because I'm like,
Hmm.
well, if she wants to know me, I'm just gonna tell her my whole life, That way you could get to know me and where I'm coming from. So I just started writing and writing. I just wrote like everything, good things, bad things, everything. And while I was writing, that shit is just like, I'm like, damn, this shit is like a book. And that shit just like turned into a book. And I had wanted to finish it so that I can, you know, it was like I was proud and I was getting like everything out, at the same time, and I was feeling a little better because I knew that she was gonna read it, and I didn't have to come out and be like and talk about it, be like blah blah blah. I wanted her to read it and then talk,
Hmm.
and that's how the book came about.
Okay.
Because when she was reading the papers and stuff like that, because I had a whole bunch of papers and all, and then she was like, yeah, but won't you like put it into a book? And that's what I did, and then she read it, and then from there, that's when we just started kicking it, the therapist and healing me, and I broke down in her office a couple of times, and then we talked about BAM, and we talked about my relationships and everything, and then they put me on depression pills, and
Hmm.
I was on depression pills like for a minute, and ever since I've been on those depression pills, it's like, yo, I can talk, and it don't bother me. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
I
Yeah.
feel good. I feel good, and I'm able to talk about things that I never would have talked about openly, to the public or to anybody that was outside of my little box.
That's powerful because a lot of people cannot do that.
Mhm.
That's definitely powerful, and yeah, I commend you for doing that because this is you led other people to come out too.
Yeah, yeah, man. So many people, man, done came to me and shared to me, even like like thug niggas, like rah rah, them type of
Uh-huh.
dudes. Yeah, man, they come up to me and told me that they was molested too, man, when they was younger. So it feels good to be able to, you know, let people begin to
Hmm.
talk about it and heal themselves because this was a subject that was always taboo,
Yes, it
and
was.
yeah, and what I'm trying to do is, break that taboo and let people know that it's okay to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? And
Uh-huh.
and that's why I talk about it more and more. And I go around to like the different colleges and I talk about it with the kids. And come to find out, like, yo, man, so many people, man, like it's crazy that this done happen to. So people can relate to what I'm saying, and it definitely feels good. And even when I'm outside, in different places, people want hugs, and because they say thank you and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
it feels really good.
that's great. That's great. It's reaching so many people. Like I said, when it hit me, I was like, I had a little. I was that guy that had a little secret. And when
Right,
I said,
right.
and I said, this person had a secret. I know every ex girlfriend I had, or even my wife to this day. My wife says, yeah, something happened to me when I was young. And I was like, wow, it's just mind boggling how this is continuous, and it's continuously happening.
And it's like
You know.
every girlfriend that I had, from my very first girlfriend,
Mm.
all the way up and to now, every girl that I had, I've always told them what happened,
Okay.
and so and this is like since like my very first girlfriend, and I always was open with them because I've always had like a problem like intimacy is like I couldn't I didn't like to be touched,
Uh huh.
like when you touch me, especially like if I'm not aware that you're getting ready to touch me, and it's like a surprise touch, it's like yo, it felt it weird, it felt it like very uncomfortable, and
Gotcha.
I didn't like it, and I didn't like to hold hands, I didn't like to snuggle in the bed, I didn't like to do none of that because it just felt it weird, and I've always loved girls. That wasn't a question, but it was just a question of just being touched.
Gotcha.
I didn't like it. So I try to show things in other type of ways, like you know us going out or me buying you something and stuff like
Mhm.
that. I would show my love like that. But then I know with girls, after a while that shit gets like damn, like I can't even touch my man. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Like,
Gotcha.
but with the touching and stuff like that, it's like I can do the touching and stuff and bed and stuff like that, but I have to initiate it. You know what I'm saying? I
Gotcha.
have to be the one like in control. Like I have to
Mhm.
be the one to touch. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Gotcha. It makes perfect sense. It
mhm.
does make sense. Because when you have somebody who did something to you as a child, you know what I mean, and they try to take advantage of you, you don't want to be taken advantage of or be surprised.
Mhm.
So it's like a defense, I guess.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Hmm.
That's what it was. But
Wow. Can you mind take me back a little bit? I know the story a little bit. Just take me back. How old were you, and where you grew up a little bit, and who was Bam at the time to you?
Yeah, well, how I first got down with the Zulu Nation and stuff like that. This was back when I was in junior high school.
Hmm.
I was it was this girl that lived in my building named Laverne. Like I've always had a crush on this girl ever since I was in the first grade.
Gotcha.
And I've always was going, to the house and stuff like that, like every day and stuff like that. And you know, to me, that was gonna be in my mind, that was gonna be the first girl that I had sex with.
No, gotcha.
In my mind. So like, as we got older, whatever, her older sister, Denise, had met Jazzy J, and they started dating and stuff like that. And that's how I met Jazzy J. Because I used to be up at the house every day. I was like their little brother, and
Hmm.
me and Jazzy, we clicked. And then one day, this was after a while, after them two, Denise and Jazzy talk, and then, we was trying to get Jazzy to DJ in the park, because we lived in the Bronx and Castle Hill projects, and Castle Hill and Bronx River, Zulu Nation, they did not get along.
Run that back in the day. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they did not get along at all. Bronx River always used to roll up on Castle Hill, so
Hmm.
we convinced Jazzy to DJ in the park, and he DJ'd in the back of our building. And that day, that's when I had met the original members of the Zulu Nation Council, and
Okay.
because they were there and stuff like that. And this is when my sister had met one of the members from the Zulu Nation Council. At the time, he was the youngest of the Zulu Nation Council, and that's when we met Mr. Biggs and Smitty and Pow Wow, and from Soul Sonic, and just everybody that day, in the back of the park.
That's the
And
beginning of everything right there.
yeah,
Hmm.
I was in the 8th grade, and everything was love from then. And then that's how I met Bam, because Bam used to come up to Castle Hill with them. It's like my building became like the Zulu Nation hangout building, because everybody, it seems like all the girls in my building end up having a Zulu as their boyfriend, that hung out with Laverne and Denise and them. And I always was the tag along, making
Yeah.
everybody laugh and joke and stuff like that. And then I used to hang out with Bam and stuff like that. When he came up, to the building and stuff like that. And then I had went on and graduated to high school. And one day I was like I was in the 9th grade, and I was cutting, and I didn't really have nowhere to go, because I didn't want to get caught by the police officer at
Uh-huh.
my school.
Yeah, I
So
remember that truancy.
yeah, so I'm like, damn, where can I go? Where can I go? So I was like, I had Bam's number, and it was always in the back of my mind that, okay, I know I'm down, I know I'm Zulu, because I was hanging out with the Zulu Nation Council, so that's like top
Hmm.
of the line. That's like top of the line clout, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I had never heard it from Bam to say, yeah, you a Zulu, you know what I'm saying? And so I was like, well, let me just go, chill out with Bam, get to know Bam, you know what I'm saying? Because I
Hmm.
wanted to hear from him, you know.
Mhm.
So, I end up calling him, and he ended up telling me, to come over, whatever. And I came over. He paid for the cab and stuff like that. And then, when I went upstairs, everything was good. There was another dude there, and it looked like they was DJing or whatever,
Mhm.
because the music was on, and everybody was just chilling. So Bam told me that that I could go into his room because the TV was on. So I figured, they was DJing or whatever, probably getting a set together or whatever. So I didn't think nothing. I didn't think nothing of it. So I went to the bedroom, and when I got into the bedroom, it was a photo book that was on the bed.
Yeah.
So when I went and I sat on the bed and I looked at the photo book, and when I opened it up, I seen like a bunch of Zulus, like Zulus that I knew, people from Bronx River, and Zulus that's from everywhere. And at that time, different pictures they was holding their dicks, and
Wow.
all that different type of shit. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? I bugged out,
Yeah.
like. And Bam's like, yeah, a lot of people in that book,
Yeah, he
So,
tried to make it seem like it's cool. Wow.
yeah, so to me, as I look at it now, older, to me, that was the setup. He knew that I was coming, so he put that book on the bed purposely. You know what I'm saying? And then, he's telling me, yeah, everybody in that book, to make me feel like it's okay, like that was something, like that was the thing to do. You know what I'm saying? And then he even showed me a picture of my sister's boyfriend, from the Zulu Nation. He even showed me his picture, and I'm like, yo. So then, Bam telling me, like, he was like, yeah, do I know how to jerk off? And I'm like, jerk off? Like, what are you talking about? Because at that time, we was good kids. We wasn't street kids or none of that stuff. So, and I wasn't into jerking myself off. I ain't know what that's fucked that. I was a Celtic kid. Like anybody that knows me knows that. So, he told me to take my pants down, and he began to jerk me up, showing me, like this is what it is. So he made it feel like that was the thing. He was like, it's okay, because everybody does it. Because I was feeling some type of way, you know. So then, he told me, to do it. So I started jerking it. I was like, in the back of my mind, I was like kind of nervous. I really wanted to leave, but I don't know. I was just like in shock, like, yo, like Bambaatta, you know what I'm saying? But he was making me feel like this is what you do. Like if you a Zulu and you hip and you down. So I was like, I didn't want to seem like I was a punk or whatever. So I did it, and then he ended up leaving out the room, and then the dude that was in the living room, he came into the bedroom. And his penis was already out. So I'm like, whoa! I got like mad scared, and I ended up leaving out of that house. And so I ended up running and whatnot, running, and then this lady, she had pulled over, and she had drove me back to my school. So yeah, like at that time I was like, yo, I'm not ever going to this dude's house again. That was in my mind. So some kind of way, Bam.
And the other guy who was in the house, he was he had to be one of the top Zulus as well.
Well, I'm gonna put it like I put it like this. Let me just jump back to him. This was a while after that, maybe like, I don't know, a couple of years after that, or I don't know exactly how long it was after that, but I was at a party. I was at I was at one of the hip hop parties or whatever, and I'm watching certain artists perform. And I'm looking, and I see, the rest of the people that I know, that was on stage with this particular artist. And then the hype man, I looked, and I'm like, yo, that's that dude that came in the room with his fucking dick out.
Wow.
That was the hype man for this particular artist.
Uh-huh.
You know.
Wow.
Yeah, so then I didn't like that artist at all after that because
Mm-hmm.
it made me feel like, damn, like, like, are they down with that shit too? So
Yeah.
I took a fallback to everybody that was on that fucking stage,
Mm-hmm.
but I knew them, but it was like, I'm not fucking with them,
Gotcha.
you
How
know?
old was about Bam about around that time this happened? He had to be like in his 20s,
Yeah, Bam was like in his mid-20s.
mid-20s. Mid-20s, and Planet Rock he's already been is
Nah,
Planet Rock
this was
a little bit before.
Nah, this was way before Planet Rock.
Okay. All right. So this is when he just basically come back and he got the Zulu Nation popping.
Yeah, that was during the Zulu Nation, days. But the
Gotcha.
dude that was in the room, this was after. This is as I got a little older.
Gotcha.
I seen this particular dude, and the reason I ain't putting him on blast like that is because he didn't do nothing to me.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in the room, because I didn't even give it a chance. I left.
You left, yeah. But I can imagine, what their plans were.
Exactly. That's what I had set in my mind. And that's why I was feeling some type of way when I seen him like years later on fucking stage with the particular artist that now likes to run his fucking mouth, and he's lucky I ain't put shit on fucking blast.
Yeah.
But we know who I'm talking about.
How's it going right now with I know you was getting a little bit of backlash from Zulu. Some of the Zulu members didn't want you to speak at one point.
Well, I'm gonna put it like this, but let me just jump back and then I'll take care of that. So after that, Bam made me feel like it was never gonna happen again. He apologized and everything. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, all right, cool. So he got me in his car again.
Mm-hmm.
He got me in his car, and he used to like pat my head like I was like some chick or whatever. And I was feeling some type of way when he did it, but it was like, damn, this is fucking Bam, And then he ended up in his car jerking off and having have me jerking off, and I'm like, wow, like, and this been on for a while, so it wasn't like one or two times, and I at that time I was like, I was scared because it was like, this is Bam and the Zulu Nation and stuff like
Zulu
that.
Nation was extremely huge in New York City at that time, especially the Bronx where you was at.
Yeah, I felt trapped because, like, the Zulu Nation Council, they used to, be at my house, my mom's, my sister, like all of us. So it wasn't like I couldn't say nothing to nobody, you know what I'm saying? So at that time, I was a little scared, like, because I didn't want to do that shit.
Gotcha. You think he utilized that against you too, as well?
I think he did, you know what I'm saying? Because in his car, I think that shit happened maybe like 3 times. And then it graduated to him coming to my house.
Wow.
Yeah, coming to my house, and I had to like lay on the bed and cross my legs, and he would put his penis in between my legs, and the whole shit, like, that shit, like, it fucked me up mentally, like wow. And I always was getting the courage, to be like, yo, I'm not doing this. And I used to see him at the parties, and when I seen him at the parties, because I'd be on stage with Jazzy J, and when Bam came to the stage, I would leave the stage because I didn't want to be around him, and then how it stopped was, he would come to my house, and then one day I was like, you know what, I'm not even going to answer my door, and that's how it stopped, because I just, every time he came, I didn't answer the door.
Just avoided it.
Yeah, so I guess he got the point, and that's how it originated. That's how it stopped.
Gotcha. About what age was it when you started? You still high school?
Yeah, I was still in high school.
Wow.
And then I had a friend, which was Little Jazzy J. That's Little Jazzy J is Jazzy J's little brother. We used to go to Stevenson High School together, and one day I had told him what Bam was doing to me. I had broke down. Yeah, I broke down, and I was at Jazzy's house, and I told the little brother, and and I asked him not to say nothing, because I could trust him, because we used to go to the same school, and we used to hang out every day. I used to be at Jazzy's house, so little Jazzy J was the very first person that I ever told, and he kept that, and he didn't tell nobody, and
but it's still in the same circle, so
yeah,
can't go any further.
So as I got older, I had told different people what happened, and even back then, Bam had me even go with him to my sister's boyfriend's house one day, and he made me go down on my sister's boyfriend.
Wow.
Like, yeah, 'cause we was at his house, and Bam told me to go down on him, and he's like, "Yo, Bam, not in front of Bee Stinger. Like, what do you?" And Bam told him it's okay, 'cause Bee Stinger knows. So it was just like a couple of seconds, and my sister boyfriend stopped me. I didn't really want to do it, so and then after that, like, I had like this hatred towards my sister's boyfriend, all the way up until now. I had this hatred, like dude, like, you wasn't even supposed to let that happen, like, and you didn't protect me against this man. You never warned me against him, and then you had him, regardless how many seconds it was, you had me do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I'm looking at you, and you with my sister, and it make me feel like, yo, if you did this with me, like, who else are you doing this with? And you dare touching my sister and having sex with my sister and shit like that. So me and this dude, we almost fought like a lot of times, and he used to try to act like he my father, tell me go to the store, and around Bronx River, I was, they used to say that I was his son and all that, because I was, because I guess he was talking to my sister, and and if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't really be down like that, and so fast forward, when I finally came out, with this, after all of this time, is because the shit kept haunting me, and I tried to commit suicide 2 times growing up.
Wow.
Yeah, because like, when I have sex with my girls or whatever, the shit it would be hard, and then it'll go back down, because I would think about that Bambaatta thing, like, like what happened to me and stuff like that, and I know it was upsetting to the girls, because I didn't last. You know what I'm saying? It would go down, and shit like that just like really ate me up, and I tried to
still playing in your memory every time you're doing something.
Like
your memory.
And it's like, ever since I was like 15, I felt like I was a part of that man. It's like I used to, when I was young, I used to close my eyes. I used to see him. Like, yo, it was like a torture thing, like,
Wow.
It was just crazy. And, just one day, this was like, couple of months ago, I was just looking back on my life. And, and then it was a guy named Al G. He was like a real Doug dude, from the Zulu Nation. Back in the days, Al G killed himself, and they say it was over a girl or whatever. And then it was a guy named Monk. Monk killed himself too. And those 2 names that I named, those are 2 people that was in that book.
Okay.
And that photo book. So, it always made me feel like,
wow,
like, did they kill themselves
over that
Bam thing, because I almost did that.
Yeah, I can imagine that you can't be the only one. You can't.
No, I know I wasn't. I know I wasn't. Bam
way.
Bam tried a lot of people. even when I came out with the story, it was a dude from the Gestapo crew. You remember the Gestapos, right?
Yes.
Like Zulu, Gestapo.
Hmm.
Like, it.
I'm a little younger. I'm in my 30s, but
Oh, okay.
I grew up I grew up in Queens, but Zulu was still big in Queens, and
Mhm.
I almost joined Zulu Nation.
Wow.
I
Well,
just couldn't. They sent me home with these papers. Said my parents had to sign it. I was like, they're not gonna get down with that.
yeah, right,
You know.
right. So it was this dude that I knew, from the Gestapo crew. This was after I came out with the story.
Mm-hmm.
He told me that Bam did it to him too. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
he was telling me that Beast Thing, it was just something that we did. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yeah, well, I was still feeling some type of way. And then another dude from the Gestapo crew, he was upset with me when I came out with it, cause he's like, yo, Bam ain't forced nobody to do that, everybody did it, because they wanted to do
Mm-hmm.
it, you know what I'm saying? But you gotta look at it like, Bam used his clout and his
Yes.
popularity to be able
Mm-hmm.
to do what he wanted to do, you know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? And
And it
that's
took advantage of young boys. You
yeah,
know.
and that's why I believe he put the Zulu Nation together, and
Yes.
he coined the term, hip hop culture. Like so,
Yes.
like when people ask me, am I down with hip hop culture? I don't know what that is. To me, that represents pedophilia. That represents,
Mm-hmm.
what Bam was doing to us, and
Gotcha.
for him to go around and be like, he's the godfather of hip hop, and
Mm-hmm.
he coined hip hop culture and stuff like that. That was just to do what he was doing to all the young boys. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
And growing up, Bam never had a girlfriend. But I remember back in the days,
Mm-hmm.
Bam
I
only
heard
had
this many times.
yeah, I remember Bam only having one girl. This was when we was way younger. It was this guy named Little Spider, Remus' sister.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only girl that I remember Bam ever talking to. But he didn't really like her like that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But after that, no, I've never ever seen Bam with a girl. All I
Uh,
seen him was with these young dudes all around him.
mm-hmm.
So you know so the day that I came out with the story, I was like really depressed and stuff like that, and I started tweeting, on Twitter, like,
Mm-hmm.
Bambaatta molested me when I was younger, because at the time I just had to get it out, because if I didn't get it
Oh, okay,
out.
okay. Well,
Yeah,
that's how I first started. I could. Oh, wow. That was
yeah,
hitting that was all over Twitter then.
yeah,
Yeah.
because if I didn't get it out at that time, I probably wouldn't even be talking to you right now,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It
because
was a rage,
it,
and it needed to get out though.
yeah, and at that time, you know, eh, I just had this weird feeling over me, like, like I had to get it out, and
Mm-hmm.
I felt God was with me when I was
Mm-hmm.
doing it. Like I've never ever felt the way I have felt that day. And
Gotcha.
then it was a guy named Ahmed Henderson. Ahmed Henderson is the manager for Bambaatta, and he's the
Mm-hmm.
manager of the Zulu Nation. And he's my best friend. And
Mm-hmm.
he called me and asked me if I could do him a favor and if I could take the tweets down.
Mm-hmm.
And he was telling me that that they got a lot of things going on, and basically, he didn't really care about
Mm-hmm.
me. He just cared about the money
The
that
politics, the money right now, the money's coming back in.
yeah,
Yeah, I understand.
and he had told me that Bam doesn't do this anymore. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So I figured that was just to get me not to say anything.
Mm-hmm.
So after I hung up from him, Star had called me, and he was like that he was ready to do the interview, because Star had answered the tweet prior to that.
Uh-huh.
He told me to give him a call, so I gave him a call, and then a week later, that's when he had called me back and was saying that he was ready to do the story. That was the same day that our mate asked me to take the tweets down. So I ended up doing the interview with Star.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it was. Everybody heard the interview and stuff like that, and then I had got a call from a guy named Saladin. You know, he's like from the Shaka Zulus, the Zulu security. You know, you know, he wanted me to do a retraction. You know, a retraction and say that I was bugging out and it didn't happen. Yeah, that it didn't happen. And you know, he was telling me, "Yo, Beast thing, I don't want nothing to happen to you because if something happened to you, it's gonna hit me, really bad, hit him really bad." So to me, that was like the threat. Like they was already planning to do something to me. You know what I'm saying? And then I got another call. I got another call, and they had told me. Matter of fact, it was Poppy. Poppy called me and told me that.
Okay, yeah, Poppy came out too as well.
Yeah, Poppy told me that the younger Zulus, they was telling Bam that they wanted to get me, and Bam told them no, to leave it alone.
Okay.
And then I had got another call. I'm not gonna say these two names though, but they had told me that Muhammad is the captain of the Shaka Zulu, the Zulu security.
Security, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they had told me that Muhammad had told them that Bam wanted the fire to stop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they had called me and told me that Bam told them to tell me to name my price. Like how much money I wanted to make this go away. And
money.
Yeah, and I was telling them that this don't have nothing to do with money. This was about me finally able to get this off my chest. And then, they was like, yeah, well, I'm not talking about no $5,000. Let's get a number. Let's say like $50,000. So in my mind, I'm like, damn, so they must have been doing this to everyone that wanted to say something prior to me.
That's that hush money.
Yeah, and so what I was like, you know what? Then I want $100,000, because I knew they wasn't giving me no $100,000. I had said that, that had meant like kiss my ass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like fuck you. I'm still doing what I'm doing.
Money ain't stacked up like that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So then they was like, oh well, I'm gonna get in touch with Muhammad and I'm gonna call you back. So they called me back and they was like that Bam said that he didn't have that he'll give me $5,000. So in my mind, I'm like, this is the second time that I'm hearing this $5,000. So to me, that must have been the going price.
Going rate. That's the going rate. Yep.
Yeah, that's the going rate that they gave everyone else.
That's
you know what I'm saying? So what I was like, you know what? So this is some bullshit. This is probably what they giving people and stuff like that to shut up. And I'm like, you know what? They're not shutting me up. I'm doing this for people who's afraid to speak up. This for people who wanted to speak up. I'm speaking for everybody now. And I just kept doing what I was doing.
Your soul's cleansed, brother.
Yeah, man, and I felt good. And, that's when Mickey Benson called me. Mickey Benson is Ice-T's manager. He had called me and, everybody heard the tape, the conversation.
Yeah.
And, trying to make me feel bad and, saying that I'm trying to destroy the brand and, I'm part of the brand and, I helped start it and why am I tearing it down? And, like I told Mickey, Ahmed, all of them, Mr. Biggs, all of them, I had been told them years ago what Bam did to me. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is like, why are you covering for this man?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, like y'all not just gonna shut me up, and just like Mickey told me that if it was anybody else that would have did, what I did, they would have stomped them out. They would have been missing in action. But being that I was the baby of the Zulu Nation Council, hanging out with the Zulu Nation Council, they know me since I was a little kid. They did not to do anything to me. And
they know they know your humbleness. It's not it just didn't come from the side. This is not something you wasn't running around the streets like that.
Mhm. Yep. And then I'm hearing from TC Islam, that's the son of Bambaatta. TC Islam, that's my dude. I love him. He's telling me that Mickey was saying that I was a traitor, and everyone else is saying this and this and that, and I didn't give a fuck because the truth needs to get out, because I have made a promise to myself back that same day that I didn't let Bam in my house. Back when I was younger, when I had stopped and I had got the courage not to let this man in my house, I had made a promise to myself that one day I'm gonna tell what happened to me, and this is that promise. I made good on my promise.
Applaud you, brother. Applaud you.
Yeah, no doubt.
Applaud you, brother. I mean, this is that story's that was a lot. That was definitely a lot. What's going on right now? Where are you going? Because I know you're putting the word out there. What's going on for the right now? Then what's going on for the new year? How you moving?
Well, the new, the Daily News, they have put me together with these other people that has been fighting for the statute of limitations to be changed in New York State. So earlier this year when we was fighting, for it up in Albany, the state assembly, they had came back with a bogus bill that we wasn't happy with, But right now, the statute of limitations, you have up until you're 23 years old to say, if something happened to you when you was a child, if you were molested or raped.
That's right now, 23 years old?
Yeah, it's 23. So the state assembly, they came back and they was like, okay, well, we can change it into 28. So, we was unhappy with that. We that's still too young. Like, people don't start talking about that until like the late 30s and stuff like that.
Until they start having children of their own and start thinking back on it.
Yeah, so, we holding out until the age of 35 at the minimum, and then we want a 1 year window so that, anyone who was molested, they have 1 year to come forth, and bring the case up. Like, I don't think they're gonna go for criminal charges, but they're gonna go for monetary damage. And so come 2017, the governor, he made a promise to us that in 2017 that they're gonna pass the bill, to the age of 35. And, right now we're just trying to push them to do this 1 year window, which I strongly believe that we're going to get that 1 year window because Governor Cuomo, he's behind us like 100%. And, I had told myself, like, okay, well, since, I'm doing this with BAM and I want to be able to give people even more encouragement. So I said, once the legislation passes, I'm going to take Bambaatta to court for monetary damages. But I don't want nothing from that man. So what I'm going to do is give 100% of, if I win, I'm going to give 100% of that money to a charity that deals with people who's been molested. And this is just to let people, this is just to let people know, don't be afraid of the person who's done something to you, And I'm showing people like I'm going up against one of the most powerful people in the world right now, And if I can do it, you can do it too.
Yeah, it's crazy because he's just a year ago, I'm teaching my son about hip hop. He's the one, when you look up hip hop, he pops up there. He's the biggest player.
Yeah, and right now, I'm pushing the hip hop movement. People always, they talk about the hip hop movement and and stuff like that. But my thing is like, it's about time that we do this like for real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And in my words, I'm saying fuck hip hop culture. I don't know what the fuck that shit is. I honestly don't. I really don't.
Well, I don't know where it's went. It's totally crazy now. You know what's funny about it is just looking at your situation and looking at hip hop now, it's hip hop is on a gay level, gay scene right now.
Yeah,
it's a gay platform.
Is. It definitely is, and that's why it's not such this big outrage, towards Bambaatta, because behind closed doors, these motherfuckers is doing the same shit.
Exactly. You be hearing the stories about, I'm not going to say all the names too, but you hear the same names back and forth. Everyone's big in the hip hop community is gay behind doors.
Yep, and that's why they not, that's why they still trying to keep it a hush hush. But you got to look at it like it's a difference between being gay and being a pedophile.
True. Very
towards
true.
young kids. You know what I'm saying? And that's what people gotta separate between their minds. Like I'm not attacking people that's gay. If that's your preference, that's your preference. My issue is with pedophiles, and Afrik Bambaatta is a fucking pedophile. And I can say that because I was one of the people he fucking touched. So my thing is, everyone in hip hop that's trying to keep this shit quiet, in my mind, they just as bad as Afrik Bambaatta, starting with KRS-One.
Oh my God!
He's on some straight bullshit. He knows what the fuck Bam is about.
I definitely heard that interview, and I lost respect for him after hearing that interview with him and was this Ed Lover.
Yeah.
Yeah. The things he said, I was like, I couldn't believe he even said it.
And to the world, they Bam done fucked his own self up by, you see, when he went to Ed Lover's show, and in my mind, Ed Lover's a fucking sucker. I don't fuck with Ed Lover because he knows that I'm Zulu. I came from Zulu. You know what I'm saying? Like, Ed knows who the fuck I am. And for him to give Bam a safe platform, that's why Bam went to the Ed Lover show. Because it was a safe platform for him, and he figured he could just go on there and say anything, and that it was gonna go away, And that's why, when he went, he was like, he didn't know Ronald Savage. You know what I'm saying? Thinking that that this was gonna go away, and people was gonna believe Afrik Bambaatta because he's Afrik Bambaatta, know. And then the minute he said that, Bam lost a lot of people lost respect from Bam, that came from back in the days that know damn well Bambaatta knows Beast Singer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. When I heard, I was like, well, Lord Jamar. I heard Lord Jamar. He's like, what are you talking about? He was right there.
That's why Lord Jamar, straightened it out, And then there's another guy called Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze was another one of Bambaatta's MCs. He was from the Jazzy 5 MCs. Remember that record, Can You Feel It? Can you feel it? My Jazzy Sensation. Yeah, that was Mr. Freeze. Like, he had a flyer that, with me on it, from back in the days. And that's when, Freeze just started tagging everybody, with that flyer. And that's how the flyer went around, and people seeing Beast Stinger on the same flyer with Bambaatta. Because Bam pissed a lot of people off when he said he didn't know me. Like, me, I wasn't worrying about it because I was like, this shit that lie isn't gonna last 2 days, and it damn sure didn't.
It sure did. It was everywhere. It was like, what? Everybody came out the woodworks. It was like, yo, he's in the thing. And everybody came out and said, you know what? We knew he was kind of, there was something going on. But it's just so sad for so many people to hold that information so long because it brought a lot of pain to a lot of people because there's been more incidents. Like when you came out, there's like everybody popped out of the woodworks. This happened to me. And if someone would have said something, there was adults around at the time, and if someone would have said something back then, it would have stopped so much pain within a lot of you guys' lives.
And that's why now, I'm definitely, pushing the hip hop movement and, reminding people, because back in 1992, I was big on the hip hop movement. Bamaram was, doing the hip hop, but I was, into consciousness and stuff like that, and civil rights
Hmm.
and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
back in 1992, when I was looking at, the hip hop movement,
Hmm.
I was saying that hip hop movement stands for conscious awareness, civil rights awareness, activism awareness,
Hmm.
justice, justice, political awareness, and community awareness. Those were like the 6 elements that I was saying, like, the hip hop movement was about, and that's what I'm pushing, pushing now,
Gotcha.
and less, especially like, now with Donald Trump being in office, you know,
Mm.
you know, um, you gotta remember Donald Trump is saying he wants to make America great again,
Yeah.
but in actuality he's saying he wants to make America white again,
That's right.
So my message, to all the rappers like now, um, to be more aware and more conscious of the messages that they're putting out in their music, and
Hmm.
especially now with this dude in office come January, we need to send different type of messages in our records, that that that
Definitely.
that stands for the hip hop movement. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And bring conscious awareness to people, bring civil rights awareness to people, bring
Hmm.
activism awareness to people, bring justice to, justice
Hmm.
awareness, political awareness, and community awareness in our records, instead of, you know, telling, calling, our women bitches and
Bitches and
hoes,
hoes all day. That's what
and
it's all
promoting
about.
that, and in your records you glorifying selling drugs and
Hmm.
guns and stuff like that. Hip hop is big. Hip hop is
Yeah.
definitely a movement, and right now they need to be sending a real message, not this bullshit message that these rappers are doing now.
Right.
Because to me, like, the revolution starts come January 1st when Donald Trump
Hmm.
takes office.
Yeah. Hmm. Definitely. We on the same move. I'm happy. I love to kick it with brothers who are on the same move.
Hmm.
That's definitely how we have to get together and you know build together because we've been so separated for so long.
Hmm.
We've been so separated for so long. But you know what? Donald Trump is a reality check.
He definitely is.
He's a reality check. When Hillary lost, I see everybody crying. I said to myself, I said, why are we waiting for the great white hope?
Exactly.
We're waiting for the great white hope to come save us. Everyone's crying. I'm like, it's
Hmm.
not about that. The only thing we need to do is come together and help ourselves. The same way they've been helping themselves. We built together.
Exactly. And right now we don't need, KRS-One and Queen Latifah and Common
Mm-hmm.
and all that. We don't need them to be quiet right now. They are the
Mm-hmm.
hip hop movement. You know what I'm saying? We need them to be spitting positively, to our youth, to get them on the right path. You know.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, it's been amazing. Um, what would you say for the kids out there? You know, the kids who may have been through your situation. What are some things you think they can do? To help them out.
Um, I think what they should do is definitely don't wait, like the years that I've waited. I
Mm-hmm.
think is in their best interest to, confront the person that's doing it to them and letting them know, how it affects them, how it makes them feel. I think they should try to get that dialogue with the person that has violated them, so that it can stop, or
Mm-hmm.
at least the healing can begin. And if the person doesn't stop and the healing doesn't commence, then the next stop is that they really need to tell someone, you know, um, what happened, because a lot of times, this stuff happens within the family, and
Mm-hmm.
they don't want to say nothing because they don't want to hurt, the family structure.
That's
You know
right.
what I'm saying?
Everyone's caring about Uncle Joey. Uncle Joey got high
Exactly.
blood pressure now. We don't want to put
Yeah.
that on him. I understand.
So that's why I said they need to confront the person, privately, that,
Mm-hmm.
and try to get an understanding with them, and the person that done something to them like really needs to apologize and try to make it better. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't,
Mhm.
I know it's hard for people to want to come out and put Uncle Tommy on blast or even their own pops. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, true.
So I think they should just talk to that person first, and if that doesn't work, then scream and holler.
Yes,
Like I did.
gotcha. Makes perfect sense, brother. Um, I- yeah, I think we went over everything.
Mhm. Yep.
Definitely. Yo, it was definite pleasure because yeah, it's been like an hour. It's been a definite pleasure talking to you. I'm gonna do what
Yeah.
I have to do, and
Yeah. I got a single coming out in 2017.
yeah.
Yeah, it's called Salute.
Okay, okay.
It's a diss track. It's talking to Bambaatta and it's talking to Karis One.
Serious?
It's,
Oh,
yeah.
you got a diss track? I definitely. I gotta put that on the website.
Yep.
Definitely want to hear that. 2017, big things for Beasting is back.
Yep. But
Dig it.
definitely, with this, interview, definitely, if you could just, make aware, of the hip hop movement and what the hip hop movement stands
Oh,
for.
definitely. You can send me some more info on the hip hop movement. I'll blast that everywhere I can. I'll
Yeah,
even
you
draw a
can
little.
you can go to Wikipedia and just type in hip hop movement.
Gotcha.
You know,
Wikipedia hip hop movement,
yeah,
and
or you can go to hiphopmovement.org.
cool. Where can he pick up the book?
The book, you can get the book online at Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com. I mean, anywhere that sells books or any website that sells books, they have it. But definitely
Gotcha.
Barnes and Noble and Amazon.com.
What's the full title?
Impulse, Urges, and
Mm.
Fantasies. And I did that. I did that title because I have Tourette's syndrome. I have
Mhm.
Tourette's. That's why when you see me doing the interviews, I like tick and all that different stuff. And
Okay.
impulse urges. That represents the disability that I have. Because when
Mhm.
you have Tourette's, you have you do things on impulse, and
Impulse.
then
Gotcha.
you have urges that you got to get it out.
Get
That's
it out.
all part of the Tourette syndrome. And
Mhm.
the fantasies, I have put that in there because I have always wondered, like, what type of person that I would be if this never happened to me. So that's why I named the book Impulse, Urges, and Fantasies.
Gotcha. It was great talking to you, brother.
Yeah, no
Um,
doubt. Same here.
yeah, man. I definitely want to come down to one of your when you guys have these rallies and stuff like that.
Okay.
And so we definitely keep in contact. You know what I mean, I'm here. I love everything that you're doing. So definitely, yeah, I'll be in contact with you. I'm here. Whatever you got
Yeah.
going on. You know what I mean, you got my support.
Yeah, no doubt.
Definitely, it was a pleasure. I'll definitely hit you back up when this is done. I'll send it over to you. You can check it out. I mean, I'm gonna make sure you like it first.
Okay, cool. That's what's up.
All right then.
All
Peace,
right.
bro. I got time to pick these babies up. It was a
Hey,
pleasure again, brother.
same here.
Thank you.
Peace.